organization is top tier is 49ers. But for me, it's been a grind day in, day out, getting acclimated to the new team, offense, learning the details of the offense, and knowing what Kyle wants every play at that.
How different is this offense from you ran before?
From a detail standpoint, just understanding where you need to be, if it's quick or delayed, or just being patient or get there fast. It's just very detailed.
Can you look at it and see, oh, I can fit in here. I can do some damage in this offense.
Of course, and I think that's why I'm here. I've been talking to Kyle through free agency. That's something he thought I could fit in his offense, and I thought I could too. And I put it in God's hands, and God led me here.
When you're adjusting your routes on a certain play, you know, if you're getting middle field closed, middle field open, does Kyle want you guys to kind of make that adjustment pre-snap, or are you just reading it as you go after the ball snap?
You can get different coverage during pre-snap, and they'll show something and give you something else. So sometimes it's read it pre-snap. Oh, they didn't give me that. I got to adjust, and you got to get to where you need to be at from the coverage that they give you.
Kyle Shanahan is known for expecting a lot out of his receivers. Have you been kind of on the receiving end of that, and how has that helped you improve throughout camp?
Definitely, he's coming here. They say it's hard to coach Kyle's room because he wants you a certain way, and going through OTAs, minicamp, you didn't feel it as much till now. And training camp, he's on our butt every day about if it's an inch too far, inch too close, and that what makes his great offense great. So whatever he says, I think that's what works. So we're gonna do it.
Pittsburgh especially, not just for you, but for most of the receivers, it seemed like there was a lot of short passes, but not a ton of breakaways after the catch. And I'm seeing in the practices that you're breaking away a lot. Does this scheme put you in better places to get downfield?
I think it's all about opportunity, and I've had opportunities to show yards after catch and during mini training camp. So
On the how do you feel the special teams are coming together? I'm sure you've heard plenty about the issues here for a long time about kick returns and punt returns and doing damage that way.
we got dogs in the room, and you can see it through meetings, through practice, the intensity throughout special team periods, and I think it's going to be different this year with all phases of special teams.
You're new to the team, but is there someone in the wide receiver group that you look to for advice in kind of Shanahan's offense?
Of course, BA, JJ, and Debo. Me and Debo a little closer because our previous relationship before me coming here or knowing I'm coming here, even before NFL, college, played against each other multiple times. But just getting adjusted, knowing what you can do during certain plays. If I got to do what Kyle wants me to do, I can add it, what I do and kind of play football type of thing. But with them three, they have great leadership in the room, and every day we come to work and compete and push each other to get better as a group.
You've got a different style of quarterback that you're catching passes from now, a guy that can take off running pretty well with the ball. So what did you see from Trey today specifically, and just how's he kind of coming along?
Not even today, man. Every day he's getting better, learning how to be a leader. Not even learning, he has it already. It's a natural thing with him. And I came in with Josh Allen at the Bills, and he gives me that same type of energy, that I'm ready to take the next step energy. I wasn't with him last year, but that second year is kind of a difference for, I think most NFL players from first to second, especially for me it was. But just watching Trey every day grow as a leader, be able to take control of not even just the huddle, the offense as a whole, when we're going through walkthroughs and make sure everybody where they need to be at a certain time. It's great watching him practice.
Anything else? Good.
Thank you. God bless you.
a lot of versions of this defense throughout the years. Where does this one stack up in your mind about in terms of talent and just the potential it has?
Each year is a challenge and it's different each and every year. I think, every year we try to just put ourselves in the best possible situation just to succeed. This year is no different, but we do have an immense amount of talent in the room as far as from corners to safeties to nickels, guys that played a lot of football, played in big-time games for us, and just a lot of versatile, guys. So we're just very excited and happy with the growth and understanding of where we can go and what we need to do to succeed.
Kyle was saying today that training camp, in his experience, wherever he's been, has lends itself to the defense having better days than the offense more often than not. Mm-hmm. So and the offense, you guys have had your way with the offense a few times, but what are you seeing from the other side in terms of weapons and what you think they can do once they start game planning and doing the different things that they do for a season?
Yeah, I think ultimately, that's what training camp is for, is the growth on both sides of the ball, and understanding and working, together with each other as a unit, offensively and defensively. And quite honestly, I think, on both sides of the ball, we have tremendous talent in multiple positions. And I think just with the overall role of the team and everybody understanding their roles, I think, quite honestly, the sky's the limit. And I think just going and competing against them day in and day out, I think iron sharpens iron, and we get better and they get better because they see different looks. We get to see different looks, different body types, and same for them. So I think it's just, that's why we have training camp for that reason, just to kind of work as a team and get each other better, to kind of be prepared for the season.
I think there was a 2-minute drill late where Trey might have ran 3 or 4 times in a row. When it opened up, how much pressure is that going to put on opposing?
It's tremendous. We've seen it, playing, the likelihoods of Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray in the past. Just to add that dimension to our team is definitely going to be, crucial. It allows the offense to extend drives, and that was something, that's you just can't account for that, on the defensive side. And sometimes it's hard to try to account for that, and you got to be soft in other areas. So I think it's just another aspect that Trey brings to this team that's going to be tremendous, and it's going to help us and to help extend drives and everything.
When did you start playing safety? Was that last year?
Last year.
Okay. And how did that come about?
Quite honestly, I played safety when I was in high school. Played in college. I didn't get moved to corner until my junior year in college. So I've had safety in my background. Kind of got moved in last year in the Rams just because we kind of ran out of bodies due to injuries. And, I just take pride in just knowing the defense and just understanding, each and every position. That's why I've kind of been able to jump around from corner to safety to nickel and, kind of just show my value. But then at the same time, I think it's just being here and understanding and just going out there and just trying to play to the best of my ability.
How was that experience? Because I think Denard had to go to the slot against the Rams, and then I think that's when obviously you had to go to safety. What was it? That was obviously a very important game.
Yeah.
I know you've been in the NFL for a while, but was it like, oh gosh, what's going on?
Not at all. Because I prepare for it, that's why we have meetings. I'm in meetings. I ask questions based off of what's going on, what every, player's job is for the position, for the specific play call. And I try to understand that. But then ultimately, no, for that aspect, I think it was just win or go home. And that was just the mindset of the team, and I didn't want to be the link in the chain when it comes to, the team not being able to get to the playoffs to continue the season. So that's all that was.
In team period, you guys, at least particularly in the secondary, I was standing behind, so I was watching. You guys reacted to motion really well, which you're going to get motion most of the time in practice.
Yeah.
Do you feel like seeing so much motion in Kyle's offense prepares you for teams like Green Bay and all these other teams that are constantly moving people around?
100%. I think, I don't know the statistic on it, but I feel like from being here and just going into training camp against Kyle's offense. I feel like he motions every play. And quite honestly, it challenges the defense to communicate, over-communicate, and just to get aligned and to be able to play the proper assignment for the call. So I think it is a huge challenge, but then at the same time, I think Kyle prepares us for the season just because of all the motions that his offense does entail. And I think we're just ready when it comes down to the season. We're just really locked in, and it's kind of, teams come out one formation, and we're able to just play fast.
In your opinion, who has shown the most growth on the defensive side of the ball for you?
I mean, I can start at each and every level, from the D line, you say Kevin Givens, to the linebackers, you can say any one of the starting three, then Flanagan Fowles, and then from the secondary, you could say, Huff, showing a lot of growth, Ambry, Demo, honestly, the whole secondary has shown growth. Mooney coming in, just being able to pick up and understand E-Man, taking his game to the next level. Jimmy doing the same, becoming more of a vocal leader. I just give credit to pretty much the whole defense, honestly, just because everyone's coming in from OTAs, and you can see the step that everyone has taken since that break. So.
Going back to that Week 18 against the Rams, we had to move to safety. Obviously, Denard had to pick up nickel really quick that week, and that was initially your position. What was the communication like in the meeting room that week to make sure that you guys were ready for that game in such a short amount of time?
Quite honestly, I think the front office does a great job of vetting players that they bring into this organization and bring into the building. Just because when we go into meetings, everyone prepares like they're going to play. And I think with that mindset that all the guys that we have in the meetings have, I think there's no situation that shocks anybody. So, when Denard goes in, I think the defense doesn't expect him to skip a beat, or, me moving to safety, the same thing. They don't expect me to skip a beat because otherwise I wouldn't be out there. And I think that's just the mindset of this organization. Now, again, that's a credit to the front office on, who they bring into this organization, and then the people that we do get into the room, they just lock in and understand that, next man up and next person, you're one play away from playing. So that's just a credit to the guys in the room.
Defensive perspective, besides, Debo and Brandon and Juwan, when you throw Ray McLeod into the mix, a smaller guy that can do things from the slot, how much more does that add to that offense?
I mean, it adds a lot. It's a whole nother, I guess you can say for Kyle, another can of worms that he can open up and use. Ray's another different type of gadget guy. And quite honestly, I'm excited to see what happens. But I leave that for the offensive side. I leave that for Kyle to kind of do what he does, and he's great at doing it. So it's just exciting to watch it from a defense perspective, just on the sideline during the game. So
you bounced around all the different positions in the secondary. How difficult is that during the season to be able to be ready to just jump in at any moment like you did last year? And we saw you do it against Week 18. You started against Green Bay. How's that? What's that like to prepare for?
I mean, I guess younger guys ask me the same question, like, how do you do that? I mean, I just take pride in just understanding the defense. And, again, that's a credit to just learning and continuing to learn in year 9. Like, I don't know. I don't have all the answers. Being through a lot of situations, different situations, I just got to understand that if I can put my best foot forward in every position, whether it be knowing every position, I think that gives me the best chance at going out there to succeed and helping this team win. And that's all I want to do, so that's all I can do.
You talk about the freedom that you have when you have Fred Warner as a whole player inside, for you to just kind of cheat everything outside. Are you used to having a linebacker like that has that kind of range?
Fred is all-pro Fred. That's what he does. He owns the middle of the field. So it does allow, plays to be made in other, areas of the field. But at the same time, I think it's just one of those things where we as a unit, we all just expected and accounted to do our job and do our job to the best of our ability each and every snap and play, with high intensity, high energy, and great effort. And I think that's a credit to Fred, being able to do all of that in the middle, but then at the same time, I think everyone just understands that responsibility and just does what they're supposed to do.
In terms of communication, is he working with Jimmy most of the time, or how does that work between them? Like, who's secondary, who sets the front?
Yeah, so Fred is the quarterback of the defense. When it comes to it, he has the little green dot on the back of his helmet, so he gets the calls and he gets everyone aligned. The safeties do make communications as well in the backfield because things are moving around. So Fred controls the line and everything, and the safeties have gotten a lot better as far as communication when it comes to the secondary and making sure we're in the right coverages and the right responsibilities.
All right, appreciate it, Dante.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
How you doing? How's camp gone so far? Camp it's been an experience. It's really been a blessing just going out there with those guys. You know what I'm saying? You finally, you went from watching them on TV to playing with them in camp, and so those guys flying around, a lot of guys making plays. It's just a blessing. I can't complain.
The coaching staff mentioned that you earned a lot of trust in OTAs. Is there anything in particular that you kind of look back at OTAs that you feel put you in position now to be working with the first team?
Exactly what I'm doing now. Just putting my head down and working. At the end of the day, just going out, doing the extra, staying up at night, trying to study the plays, get ahead of the curveball, especially with the Shanahan offense. You know what I'm saying? Nothing comes easy. So even when you think you have something, they always keep, even when you think you got it, you got to take the extra step and go ahead and go back and review it because you really don't. There's a lot of nuances within this offense that you have to learn. And so that's really what I did, just try to stay focused on that, make sure that I got all the basics down so whenever I go out, and I'm going to make mistakes young, but you try not to make the same ones over and over again. So
Was being a week one starter a goal of yours after you were drafted, or were you more of a mind to just, all right, today, then tomorrow, then the next day?
Right. It was a few to go, but as far as like just going in, like I said, just coming in and grinding, head down mentality every day, and let the results speak for themselves. At the end of the day, what you do and what you put out on the field is going to be the result, and whether they trust me or not, that all falls into what I do on the field. So regardless of what my goals were or what my visions were, just coming in and grinding, just going pounding the fist mentality, just going every day.
Do you feel pretty good that if there was a graph of your practices that the line's going up the way it should be?
It is, like I said, I've made a lot of huge improvements since my first time being here. Still a lot to go, a far way to go. But I've gradually made a few improvements with these few practices that we have had. And I feel like I'm just going to continue to grow and continue to learn especially from all the veterans and guys like that. They've been real helpful, you know what I'm saying, leaning on those guys. Leaning on the coaching staff just to see, finding extra coaching points that I can use in order to improve my game.
How do you think going up against this particular defensive line has helped you to improve maybe even faster?
They say it all the time. Like I feel we got if not the best defensive line in the league. I mean, if you look across the board, they're stacked. So every day you're going against the best players in the league. So that's the best type of competition. Iron sharpens iron at the end of the day, and we're just gonna keep growing and building off that.
This year, the first year you've played guard, has it been all tackle up until now?
My first 2 years in college, I played guard, and then my back 2 years in college, I played tackle. So it has been a transition just going from out to in, just from the different rules and stuff like that, but in technique. But as far as that, it's not my first time playing guard.
Can you talk about some of the nuances in Shanahan's offense? What would some of that be as far as the jump from the college level to the NFL level? Are you just worried about a lot more different things?
Of course, everybody knows the outside zone. The zone scheme that we run here is real complex, especially with the outside zone schemes. I knew what outside zone was, and just when I thought I knew what it was, there's a million different ways that you could possibly run it. There's different fits and different keys that you focus on. Just 6 inches can change the whole dynamic and technique of the play. It definitely changed like the landmark and stuff like that. So it's really, like I say, football is a game of inches. It really is, especially when you sit down and you actually sit down and you study and you break down exactly what it is. It all shows.
There's also the fact that you have to get out and maybe do more things than offensive linemen and other schemes physically. I mean, even before you can make those judgments. And is that something that you were pretty confident about from the start? Yeah, I'm athletic enough. I can do this.
You got to have confidence coming into it. Try not to be too overly confident. You still got to be humble and have humility. Because, like I said, just when you think you know it, you don't. So the landmarks and different techniques and stuff like that, since the offense is so universal and so unique and so dynamic, the angles that you do have to set up and you do have to work on and stuff like that, you can't do enough reps.
Building off that, when you're talking about different angles and how inches matter, when you're working either with the center or the tackle next to you and you're doubling up to the second level, in terms of who goes and who stays, are you guys prioritizing in terms of the defensive lineman in front of you and what technique he's playing, or are you determining based on where the linebacker's lined up and the easiest angle to get to him?
It actually can vary off of both of them. So the defensive line, of course, you got to take care of the first level line of defense before you get to the second line. So the defensive line, of course, will always be the number one target. It'll always be, the main source of that equation. But the linebackers play a huge part of it. Like I said, with them shifting over to a right or them shifting over to a left or them stacked, that can change the whole, like your landmarks, your technique. And we know that, and we're just going to keep repping that, but that it does play a huge part.
What type of scheme did you primarily run in college at UTSA?
In college, we ran outside zone, gap scheme, usually quick offenses, usually a lot of hurry up and stuff like that. So
NFL mandated this year that teams wear the puffy things that go over the helmets. I'm curious whether you formed any opinion at all. Or is it a distraction? Is it something that you
distraction? No, it's not a distraction at all. At the end of the day, it's all for our health. You're going to have to grind whether you got it or not. I'm saying in the trenches, not a lot of things change. You know what I'm saying? It's still a grind in there. But it does help. It takes a load off. Apparently, they did the research and they did, the proper calculations and everything that they needed in order to find out, with the results that they were given. So it helps.
It's been a little over, I think, 3 months since you were drafted. Is that enough time in an NFL strength program to start seeing some gains? And have you been able to see some strength gains in that time?
I've been able to see a lot of strength gains. It's just a matter of putting in the work, Nobody's going to, at this point and at this time in your life, nobody's going to sit there and they're not going to, tell you need to do this or tell you need to do that. You're a grown man at the end of the day. So I feel like the work is there. The work is going to be there. We got an amazing staff. It's just a matter of you taking the advantages of it and putting it out to your use.
Spencer, what if the veterans just told you about what Levi Stadium is going to be like come Friday, and what anticipation is there on your end? This is, your first time suiting up for an NFL game.
Right. So, they've been real helpful. Just encouraging, I would say. They've encouraged me a whole lot. Sometimes I get down on myself, you make a bad play. They tell you, like, you're going to have good players and you're going to have bad players at the end of the day. It's the game of football. Just win more than you lose, and then when you're out there, it's going to be electrifying. The crowd's going to be going crazy in the Bay. We got a great fan base. Shout out Bang Bang Nana Gang. Like I said, the environment that I'm finna be in, it can't be more suiting.
Exhibition games or preseason games are a little ho-hum for veterans. Some of them won't even play. But if you're a rookie and it's like your first time being out there, do you take that moment to look around and see, or are you like zeroed in from the get-go? Do you give yourself even a minute?
It's going to be an experience, like just going out there and seeing all. Of course, you're going to soak it all in for the first time, but at the end of the day, you got to handle business. That comes with the game. That comes with a part of being a pro. You gotta have to get used to it very quickly and very fast, and so you can't really get too caught up in that. You got to focus on winning the game at the end of the day.
Spencer, from a guy, you didn't play at Alabama or Clemson, and so it seemed like you might be a guy who at least take a moment and have an adjustment. And I realize what you're talking about, there has been an adjustment, but have you been surprised that you've been to transition to this as easily, or not easily, but as well as you have?
What do you mean by surprise?
Well, you started. You're right now the starting right guard. You're a fourth-round pick from UTSA, so a lot of people will be like, I didn't expect Spencer Burford to be the starting right guard in training camp. It surprised you?
Has it surprised me? No, I knew I always had it in me, but at the same time, I'm not really focused on whether it's the starting position or the second string position. I'm just here to play the game that I love and do whatever I can to help the team win. So if they find something in me, thank God. If they don't, I'm going to keep working and put my best foot forward.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you.